Hello, this is Matthias, and I'm going to show you how to use Google Calendar together with your Google Classroom to help you organize your meetings and make sure that all your students know, when meetings are happening and when assignments are due and so forth. So here's my Google Classroom. This is like a demonstration classroom that I created. Um, and you're probably already familiar with the stream and with the classwork tab. Here, there's not much, but I have one test assignment, and here's where students and you can see all the classwork. What I want to talk about is this Google Calendar um, button. This is going to take you to a Google Calendar that's for your specific classroom. So all the Google users, all the Google accounts have their own calendars. So you have your personal calendar, students have their own personal calendar, but there's also a shared calendar that you can all use together. And only teachers have access to create things and edit things in the calendar, but all the students can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Google Calendar button. And it's going to open a new tab on my browser, and now I'm on Google Calendar. Um, and the first thing to notice that I want to point out is there's, let's see here, there's a few different calendars on Google Calendar. Oops, sorry. So if you look at here at the left-hand side, let me see if I can, yeah, there we go. There is sort of like the calendar has my name, and you'll see a calendar that has your name, and that has your sort of personal event. So you can create calendars, and by default, when you create an event, it's going to appear in your own calendar. But then there's also another calendar that right now is empty, mostly empty, for my classroom. And so you're going to see a calendar for your classroom here as well. The very first time you click the Google Calendar button, you're probably going to see um, uh, a pop-up that says, do you want to add this calendar to your Google Calendar? And you can say yes. And then from then on, you'll basically have it here. So if I click somewhere, for example, let's say Wednesday at 10 a.m., if I click on this, I'm going to create a new event. And the thing to notice here, I'm not sure why my pointer is not quite working, but the thing you're going to notice is that, oops, all right, that you have a choice of where to create events. And so the default choice is you're going to create an event on your own calendar. But what you want to do if you're trying to set up, for example, a morning meeting, is to click here and to select the classroom calendar. And then you'll be creating a calendar for your classroom and not just for you. And that's important. So let me close this, and I'm going to discard. What I like to do, and what I recommend if you're creating a bunch of events for your classroom, is to uncheck your personal calendar and any other calendars that you might have. So if I uncheck this, you can see now that sort of like my personal event doesn't show up anymore. Now I only have this calendar check, my classroom calendar. And now if I click somewhere to create a meeting, so let's create a morning meeting. Let's say it's going to happen at 8:30 a.m. Starting tomorrow. When I create, you'll notice that it's in the darker blue color and that the calendar here is sort of like my demo classroom calendar. So instead of your calendar. So that's important. You want to make sure that the classroom calendar is selected here. Okay, so now I can select my event. So I'm going to say, for example, morning meeting. And it's going to start on April 1st. I can set the time. So like maybe it's from 8:30 to 9:15. You don't need to add any guests because everyone has a shared calendar. So everyone is going to see this meeting on their calendar and they can get notifications if they want to. And the location or description is useful to put in, for example, a Zoom meeting link if you are using Zoom. Turns out if you're using Google Meet, then you can just click add conferencing and get a meeting automatically assigned to it. And then everyone will be able to click on the calendar and open the meeting easily. But I know most teachers are using or using Zoom, sorry. So if I open a new tab and go to Zoom, I'm gonna show you, you can create a new meeting, which you may have done already. So I'm gonna click sign in. I'm gonna sign in with Google. I'm gonna choose my account. This should be like your DOE account. and I can schedule a new meeting, or you can use your personal meeting room. Let's just save this meeting. Doesn't really matter sort of when exactly it's scheduled for, I don't think, because the main thing that you want is this link. So once you create your meeting link, which you probably know how to do already, you can select it, or you can either click copy the invitation and take it from here. You can also just select it from here. You can press Ctrl+C to copy, and then if you go back to calendar, where it says here, you can Ctrl+V. Sorry, I pressed the wrong key. Oh, there we go. My computer is a little slow. Yeah, this is not the right link. Okay, never mind. So let's try that again. So I'm going to say Ctrl+C. I'm going to come here. I'm going to say Ctrl+V. There's my Zoom link. You can also add it in the description if you want. Somewhere so that basically people can see it. And now I have my morning meeting, and when people see this calendar, when your students or parents, if they go to the student's calendar, when they see this, they're going to be able to click on this link and go straight into the meeting. So that's useful both to see that the meeting is happening, and also they can kind of click on the link right there. And that kind of saves you from having to post all the links all the time on the Google Classroom stream, which can get very busy. Now you might be thinking, well, I have to do this. I have a morning meeting every weekday, so now you have to do this every single time. Well, you don't. You can make a repeating calendar event. So if I clicked on this event to show it, and I'm going to click the Edit Event button here, and that's going to take me to edit the event. And what I can say here is, I can say, I want to make sure you can see this. It says, April 1st, 8:30 to 9:15 a.m. And then it says, does not repeat here. And I can click there, and I can say, for example, every weekday, which is useful. If you're having like a meeting that's every Tuesday, for example, like let's say you're a cluster teacher and you have, technology and Tuesdays at 1, you could say weekly on Wednesday, or in this case, whatever day it is. If it's a meeting that happens every day, Monday to Friday, you can say every weekday, hit save. And now, hopefully, if it all worked, you can see now that I have my morning meeting starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And if I go to my next meeting, my next week, it's there all the time, right? Again, if you want to create a standalone, maybe like at 3 p.m. on Tuesdays, you have something you can make. Let's say this is science, science meeting. You can go through the same steps. You can add your Zoom link or your Google Meet link here. You can go right to more options before you save it, and you can again go to where it says here, does not repeat. You can say weekly on Tuesday and save it. And now the nice thing is, when the students go to their Google Classroom, they're not going to see, let me see, let's turn this off. They're not going to see the events directly on their Google Classroom or the stream, but if they go to classwork and they click on Google Calendar, it will take them to calendar, it will open the classroom calendar, and they'll be able to see basically all the morning meeting events. If they go to the next week, they'll be able to see the science meeting here and so forth. So it's a nice way for you, for you, and also all the teachers in your classroom, so all the cluster teachers can do the same thing, and they can create their own events, and so you can start building the schedule for the students that way. The other thing I wanted to show you is that assignments do appear here. So I made, for example, an assignment in Google Classroom that's due on April 2nd, and so it will appear here. This means up here, it means it's an all-day assignment, and it will have a link to the actual assignment. If I make an assignment that has a specific time, it will appear as well. So let me go ahead and create a new assignment. Okay, another assignment, and you put instructions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say there's a due date. Let's say it's on Friday at 3 p.m. And then you can go ahead and click assign. Or you can fill in other details if you need to. So now I have my assignment as due April 3rd. If I go to the calendar, let's see, there it is. It appeared there. So assignment, another assignment, due at 3 p.m. So you can have sort of like one place for all the students, and hopefully this works well. Again, let me know if you have any questions. I would say that, again, the most important thing when you're doing this is that you select your classroom's calendar only. See, if you click here, it sort of things appear and disappear, so you have to make sure it's checked. So you're putting things into the classroom calendar and not into your personal calendar, which is going to appear first here with a different color. If you want, you can even click here and choose a red or some bright color um, to show the classroom events so that you know that you're creating them in the right calendar. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.